Joining me now, Vivek Ramaswamy, former presidential candidate, founding member of Doge. Vivek, great to see you. So President Trump hasn't even been in basically a month or so yet. The Democrats are making it seem like there should be monumental change on the economy right away, immediately. So when can we start seeing relief, Vivek?
I mean, the right answer, Laura, first of all, these claims from Democrats are asinine. President Trump took office on January 20th, and they're complaining about January numbers as though President Trump is responsible for that. Here's a basic lesson on inflation. Democrats would do well to remember. There's two drivers of inflation. Number one is government overspending, and then the government having to print money and inflate away the value of the dollar in the process. And number two is supply constraints on energy and housing and other goods in our economy. Two things have happened in the last several weeks. Number one is we're relieving those supply constraints. President Trump is rolling back those regulatory constraints on energy production and really production of everything in the United States. And when it comes to government spending, we are seeing the cuts that he's focused on making. So it makes absolutely no sense to blame President Trump for the 2 to 3 weeks that he's been in office for inflation numbers that went up while Biden was actually in office, driving the very causes of that inflation. Of course, they know that, at least the smart ones do, but they're trying to trick the public. The public won't be fooled so easily this time, is my bet.
Now, your involvement with Doge is well documented, but are you surprised that the Democrats' response, we're doing a whole feverino this show on the lame resistance to this, but are you surprised they're trotting out the same old tired lines of, Musk's a, autocrat, or Trump's a this, or someone's a Nazi, or, they're taking food from babies and cancer cures from medical patients. Is that the best they can do?
I'm not surprised. I think it is the best they can do right now. What I'm rooting for, Laura, is a Democratic Party that actually has a vision of some sort. It may not be a vision that you and I agree with, but go back to talking about how do you address economic inequality or other substantive issues. That would at least be better for the country, even if we disagree with their solutions, rather than resorting to the standard fascist autocrat name-calling. It's just not useful. Frankly, if you ask most Americans across the country, do you think that there's too much red tape in this country or too little red tape in this country? Not a single person is going to tell you there's too little red tape, not even actual Democrat voters. A lot of people are going to tell you that there's too much red tape. So the fact that President Trump and Doge and Elon and the entire new administration is focused on cutting red tape, I think is a good thing, both for the American people and for the economy, because that stimulates economic growth. The Democratic Party is lost. They got a shellacking last November. The reality is they would do better to look themselves in the mirror and ask themselves what they actually stand for. What is their vision? Is it economic inequality? Is it something else? Go figure that out. And until then, I think the name calling is falling flat as it should.
Meanwhile, everybody was watching, Vivek, the Federal Reserve Chair, Jerome Powell. Today, interest rates were the big topic, but he's still defending their proclamation early on when they said that inflation would be transitory. Watch.
We thought the inflation was transitory. I can show you forecasts from the end of 2021 by us, by staff, by the blue chip. Everybody thought it was going to be transitory. That's why we didn't raise rates.
Is that satisfactory for you?
It's not. And the dirty little secret in financial markets, Laura, is the reason people pay attention to every little word of the Federal Reserve is not because they have some unique insight. It's because markets are looking for how the Federal Reserve is often going to mess it up next. These people have messed it up royally for the last 25 years since the academics took over the Federal Reserve and the managerial class in the late 1990s. They've actually been adverse to the interests of American workers. They've been trying to balance inflation and unemployment, mostly doing a terrible job on both. It's like trying to hit two targets on a dartboard with one arrow, badly missing on both. The reality is the Federal Reserve needs to go back to one purpose of stabilizing the U.S. dollar as a unit of measurement. And by the way, they don't need 23,000 employees to do that, which is what they have today. They could have a 90% headcount reduction and, frankly, do a better job so none of those excess headcount is going to find these new tasks to pursue.
Another Doge
I think that's the
target.
right path forward for the Fed.
You're still doing Doge.
Makes
I
sense
love
to me.
it. It's another target. Vivek, awesome to see you. Thank you so much.